Hello friends, if you don't know me, I'm THRALL. I'm a former Royal Marines Commando, and last year I ran the length of Britain, 1,000 miles non-stop, an ultramarathon a day. I was solo, unsupported, sleeping in a tent and carrying about 14 kilos of camping equipment. So not surprisingly, one of my supporters asked if I would make a video on running. Moreover, how does somebody get into running if they haven't got a clue? So I thought I'd make a video possibly titled How to Run and Why You Should. And one of the reasons I really wanted to make this film or podcast is that for me, running is one of the best things in my life, and it has been for a long time. It wasn't always that way, and yet for some people, running is something they seem to be so abhorrent of, maybe scared of, and it really doesn't need to be that way. And I think the image that comes into people's minds when they think about running is that running for a bus, that breathlessness feeling. So I just want to talk a bit about, what running really is. So why do people think it's difficult? I think people equate running, like I said, with a running for the bus, or also that feeling at school, when you were made to go and do sports. We were made to do cross country at school, and like we dreaded it because it was hard. It was normally cold and wet. We had no idea about pace, about how to hold your head up and enjoy the scenery. We had no coaching whatsoever. We were just sent out. I think we were a bit older than that place where if you forgot your running kit, they sent you in your underpants, But we used to go out, and as we got older, we just take a box of cigarettes and stop off on the run and smoke those. That's how much we kind of despised it, right? So I think that's the image that maybe a lot of people have in their mind, that and the running for the bus thing, right? And then, of course, another reason people think it's difficult is the media sensationalism that controls this country. And again, that's another debate, right? But how are you supposed to get into running when anytime you see any running event in the media or on the news, they tell you how hard it is and how you have to be an elite athlete to run a marathon and other such utter nonsense? You've got to remember, 90-year-old pensioners run marathons and they do it really well. You've got people with no legs doing marathons. You've got people in wheelchairs. There's no real excuse. You've got clinically obese people running marathons, right? There's no real excuse. There's nothing holding you back, is what I'm trying to say. And then, of course, you've got the sacrifice of time. And if you understand, or when you get to understand how the universe works, you'll realize it's by giving out to the universe, by undertaking such events such as running, that you will get that back tenfold, and with that you will get your time back, right? Now, I think the simple explanation of why people don't run, why people seem to wear it as a badge of honor. Oh, I'm not running, I don't like running, this kind of attitude. is that they haven't been properly introduced to it. Like anything, it's like chess. I went for most of my junior and adult life thinking chess was some kind of boring game only played by dusty academics, right? And then when someone sat me down one day and said, look, come on, let's play, and he explained how each of the pieces can move like this or whatever, that I realized what a clever game chess is. I hadn't known before. No one had showed me, right? So that's what we're going to come on to. I got some notes here up on the screen, so if I keep doing that, you'll know why. So why should you run, and what are the benefits? Well, it's our natural state, believe it or not. If you may have heard of the book Born to Run, in that book by Christopher McDougall, he talks about persistence hunting, how one of the theories as to why the human brain got bigger was the increased intake in animal protein, and that human beings are one of the few animals, in fact, one of the only animals that can run for long distance. And the reason we can do that, and when I say long distance, I'm talking hundreds of miles at a time, at least 100 miles, right? And the reason we can do that is that we can cool ourselves down with sweat and with breathing. Whereas the animals that we would persistence hunt, meaning we'd keep up this campaign of running against an animal, tracking it by its spoor, by the spoor it leaves and by its footprints, and we would keep up that pressure until the animal tired. And of course the animal can't cool itself down only by breathing, so it might be able to run very fast over short distances, but then it has to stop. And this is where man benefits, because we can keep up that pace. So this is one of the theories of how we were able to get a lot of meat into our diet. Then of course you've got escaping predators, so we would have had to run to escape predators, and I could go on, right? But if the body is so clever and Mother Nature is so clever, if we have evolved to do something in the natural world, then there's always a reason behind it. And so running isn't just for those pastimes I've listed. It's also been adapted into been a part of our health. If you run, you're going to get fitter. If you're fit, there's less overall strain on the body, right? Then of course weight loss. I never have any kind of problem with weight because I understand diet. If you haven't seen my podcast I did one on losing weight and also the alkaline diet, really worth watching. Running helps strengthen the bones and the joints. Don't believe what you hear that running ruins the human body. That's if you do anything excessively, you're always going to have problems, right? But what running does is it stimulates growth hormone in the body, and that will actually strengthen bones and joints, right? Of course, it improves circulation, so you're going to have better blood pressure, less chance of heart attack, this kind of thing. And it helps to align your skeleton. So if you're sat behind a computer all day and you're saying, I've got a bad back, it's like, get out and just jog. Not talking, you're not doing heroics here or trying to win the Olympics or something. Just get out and have a jog around the block. You'd be so surprised how quickly that pain can be rectified. It's also a massive antidepressant. So many people in society now are depressed, and they go into their doctors, and what does the doctor do? He just hands them a pill or a medicine on behalf of the pharmaceutical companies, right? Because that's kind of arguably a GP's place in this crazy thing called life, right? Does the doctor actually say, you're depressed, run around the block? No. There's not much profit in telling people how to cure themselves without medication. So, massive antidepressant, running, because it creates endorphins. So if you're ever fed up, if you're ever down, if you wake up on the wrong side of bed, if you've been depressed, and you can summon up the will to do what I always suggest, which is run around the block. Nothing more, just around the block at your own speed. I'm going to come on more to that. What that does is it sends chemicals to the brain that make you feel good. And the great thing about those chemicals is they're not addictive. You get a massive sense of accomplishment from running. Even now, and I've been running for years and years, I love that feeling of getting back from a run, having a shower. The evening's mine then, and I can feel so great, or feel so great about the day if I've run in the morning. And of course, when you start to see your times improving, and then you can start to kind of match yourself against, like, how would this be if I entered an event? Then it really starts becoming fun. Personal time, you get to spend time on your own. You get time to just de-stress. When you run, you're not thinking about work. You're not thinking about paying the bills. You're not thinking about, you've just smashed the car up or whatever. It's your time. It's stress-free. You can enjoy the nature, enjoy new sights. You hold your head up, you look around, you see things you've never seen before, and you start to live in the now. You may have heard this referred to as mindfulness, right? Living in the here and now. And another byproduct of running is it's an education. So you're expanding your horizons. You're going to start learning more about health, and health equals happiness. You're going to start learning more about people that live incredible lifestyles, because one kind of common trait of many go-getters, many adventurers, many athletes, people that are specialists in their field, you find that they all go running, or many of them do, or they have a sport that they regularly partake in, right? And so you can see there's a common thread starting here: running, education, achieving, happiness, enlightenment, right? And last but not least, taking action creates action. Again, like I say, the run around the block, everything I've done in my life, whether it's run 1,000 miles or run the London Marathon or beat drugs, or addiction, should I say, rather, it starts with me running around the block. Yeah, I can run 1,000 miles, but when I start something new, I run around the block. I start from fresh. I just get into that routine of doing something, achieving, getting the endorphins, and then that spurs me on to take on or start planning my next challenge, right? So I was asked the other day, Chris, how does someone start running? Good question. I guess the simple answer is any way you want. There's never, I'm not one for kind of strict rules. If you're a guy and you want to put a dress on and go for a run, do that. If you're a girl and you want to do it on wearing a pair of stilts, if you enjoy it, it's go for it, right? Some people just up and run. They feel a calling inside themselves. Tony Robbins is one person that did this. He ran, I think, 10 miles along the beach, and now, you know, he's one of the kind of most famous the world over life coaches. Another person was Dean Karnazes, who's a very famous long distance ultra runner, once ran 300 miles non-stop. And he was bored in his job. He knew something had to change. So what did he do? He did what he said. He took action. He didn't run around the block. He ran 30 miles. And he did it on his 30th birthday, I think it was. And all the guys that were drinking with him in the bar, when he just put his beer down and went, that's it, I'm fed up with this, I'm off to change my life, they kind of thought he was crazy, right? So when you start, you're not trying to break records. This is one of the hardest things to get across to people, is to forget what you think such and such is. In this case, we're talking about running. Forget what you think. If you think running is putting a pair of trainers on and just running as fast as you can, and the next day you're going to run 5 miles and the day after 10 miles, and then you're not going to last very long in this sport, because that's unsustainable. It's not fun. And things that are unsustainable, by definition, we give up, right? So set yourself a reasonable distance. If you're completely new to running, it's the run around the block. If you think, yeah, I'm, you know, reasonably fit, you might want to set yourself a half a mile or a mile. You don't need to do more. If you do more, you're going to end up with getting tired, getting out of breath, and getting disillusioned, right? So you've set yourself your short distance. Have a drink before you go. Even now, I wouldn't consider carrying water unless I was running over half marathon distance, so 13 miles. See a lot of people holding these drinks, and I quite often wonder, how far are you running? Because if you watch the marathon runners on TV, they don't even stop at the drink stations. They haven't got time for that. They just power straight through, right? So I'm not saying don't hydrate. That's really important. I'm saying when you're getting into it, that's not something you want to worry about. Music is brilliant. There's two schools of thought here. Some people say, no music. That's blasphemy, right? You're ruining or sacrilege, you know, you're ruining the countryside, you're ruining your experience. What I would say is, when I ran that 1,000 miles, I just loved listening to my MP3 player. I just one sort of favorite tune off each album on there, about 100 songs, and I just played them over and over again. And in the end, I just enjoyed listening to the music more than podcasts. But you can take a podcast as well. Although if you're running a mile, probably not. You're going to get to that bit where they're still talking about the advert. Right, warming up. You don't need to be worrying about that at this stage. Just start walking. Start walking anyway. Warming will not only warm you up, but if you go straight out the gate running, you'll get 100 yards, 100 meters, and you'll start to crash. I get it even now, even though I'm quite reasonably fit. I'm just in the process of planning a quadruple Ironman for my 50th birthday, right? But even now, if I'm just running, say, 4 miles, if I try and go fast from the beginning, you hit this horrible kind of wall then that you will break through it, but it's just not fun, and running should be fun. So you start walking, warm into it, then you can start trotting, right? Just or what they call jogging. Do not get out of breath. This is fundamental in ultra running, so that's when you're running 100 miles, some people run 200 miles, right? The secret is you never get out of breath. If you don't get out of breath, then you're not going into an anaerobic state, and you're not going to get tired so quick, if tired at all, right? And if you're not getting tired on running, that's half the battle won, isn't it? That means you've got stand far more chance of enjoying it. So that is the secret. Run like you can talk to the person next to you. Yeah, just you don't get out of breath. If you find yourself that you're going too fast, for a novice, all the fast stuff will come later, right? Just slow it down. Look up, enjoy the scenery. Remember, this is your time. You're living in the now. You're forgetting the stress of yesterday. You're not worrying about the future. Now, look up, enjoy, see things you might not have seen before. You land on your forefoot. Nike trainers wanted you to believe you land on your heel. Bang, 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 like that, right? That's why they created those really sort of big soles. And what we've realized in recent years is that is not how humans run. Humans land on the forefoot, and then you touch down with a heel, and then you move. You don't need to know much more than that at this stage. It's not really necessary, but I tell you that so you avoid injury. Just shuffle along gently, landing on the forefoot, not getting out of breath, and you'll be fine. If you have to walk. Why not? Ultra runners, when they do the 100 milers, many of them walk anything up to half of it. I'm guessing some people probably walk most of it. If that's what it takes for you to enjoy your run and not get yourself into an exhausted state, you can walk a bit. That's fine. And then have 2 days off, 3 days off, 4 days. That's your recovery time. You don't want to be smashing those runs out every day until your body's kind of got used to it a bit. Even now, I'm training to run 100 miles that I will be in 2 weeks' time. And that's on top of cycling 450 miles and swimming 10 miles. I still haven't trained more than 3 miles or 4 miles. 3-mile runs or 4-mile runs. It's a big misnomer that you have to put in these huge training sessions to get fit, right? So take a few days off. When all your aches and pains are gone, you can go again. What to wear, as I said before, anything you want. Not high heels. Cheap pair of trainers, you can pick them up for 20 quid, 30 bucks. They don't have to be anything special. Most trainers will, talking running shoes here, they will do the job. And when they get worn, you throw them away and get another pair, right? Don't care what people think. Yeah, it's not a fashion show, guys, right? You're doing this for you. You don't care what people think. You don't care what people think you look like. It doesn't matter what you look like. This is investing in your life. If you don't do it, no one else is going to do it for you. And then you're going to die, and you might die from obesity, heart disease, all of, all of those ailments. And when you're out there, other runners will just have nothing but respect for you because they know what you're going through and the effort that you've made. We don't care about what people think because they're fucking wankers if they're going to think that. And why would you care about wankers? That doesn't make sense. You care about your family and you care about the people that love and support you. Everyone else can fuck off, right? I say that seriously because I reckon so many people don't join a gym or don't take up running because they've been brainwashed by this sick society that's developed around us, that it matters what the fuck you look like, and it doesn't. You're all born beautiful. You're all part of this universe, and you have every right to be right. So I just wanted to say that. Motivation. What can we do for motivation? So run when you don't feel like it. This is really important. You're getting into your sport, you have 3 good runs, whatever, and then there comes the 4th run. You're late home from work, you haven't had your dinner yet, you think, I'll just put the TV on, I'll put my feet up, okay? It's those times that you really must get out. And I tell you why, it's twofold. First of all, you create those endorphins, and it is impossible to come back from a jog without feeling good. So that is one reason, right? But secondly, that feeling good reminds you of like why you took up the running, and it establishes a habit in your mind that, hey, if I feel bad and I don't want to go for a run, if I actually just bite the bullet and go for that run, I always feel better, and I'm always so glad that I went for it, right? So you've got to use CBT there, cognitive behavioral therapy, right? That's basically the way you talk to yourself out of negatives. Remember, no negativity. We only go forwards, right? So that's one way to keep your motivation up. You can sign up for an organized run. That could be a 10K, so that's 6 miles, just as a goal, something that you're training towards. Remember, if you don't sign up for it, no one's going to sign you up for it. If you sign up, you're going to get that enthusiasm to go and train. And if it comes around and you think, do you know what, I'm actually not quite fit, well, you can go and walk it and just jog the bits that you can, or you can just cancel and rebook something else for when you later down the line when you are a bit fitter, right? But if you don't sign up for it in the first place, you're going to lose all the benefits I've just said, the benefits of getting out running 3 times a week, because you've got a challenge coming up, right? You could do what I did. I just signed up for the London Marathon. I hadn't been running not seriously for years or anything. I just signed up for it. You get 6 months then to train, and that was a really nice feeling, taking myself out and motivating myself to go running and but you don't have to sign up for a marathon, right? You can do the CBT I just said, the positive self-talk. Remind yourself, if you don't go running, your life isn't going to change. If your life isn't changed, then you're not educating yourself. If you're not educating yourself, you're not going to improve your circumstances. If you don't improve your circumstances, you're going to die young. You're going to leave your children behind younger. You're going to be unhappy. You're going to live a parochial existence. You're going to cut off so much from yourself if you if you can't talk to yourself in the right way and just get yourself out there to follow something through, and following something through, like running, comes with all the benefits that we've talked about, and broadening your horizons, meeting amazing people, learning about some of the champions of running, or people that aren't champions but have overcome obstacles to go running. It's really, really worth learning to talk to yourself in a positive and inspiring way. And don't be afraid to remind yourself of, what if I don't do it? What's going to happen to me? What are going to be the negatives that I'm bringing into my life, my choice, right? And where's my life going to end up if I don't follow this thing through? You can watch running videos on YouTube. They're great. Excuse me. You can really get inspired by watching. I mean, there's some Ironman videos out there of people going to Kona, which is the championship in Hawaii, where the Ironman started. And you've got videos that have been made by people that were like 50 a day smokers that just decided one day that's enough. I want to do an Ironman, and now they're in the top championship. I'm not suggesting that you train for an Ironman. Some of the people watching this video will be doing an Ironman in the next 5 years. I guarantee it. But I'm just saying, watch the inspiration and watch people's motivate, and you learn people's motivation for why they get into sport. But most of all, do it because you love yourself and you don't want to be mediocre. Because as I always say, you get one life, and if you live it right, one is enough. So I hope that helped. Any questions, put them in the comments section, and I'll either answer them with another video, or I'll do my best to reply to your comment. If you could subscribe to the channel, it would really help me. I'm just, as you can see, trying to spread a positive message just to help people that might be struggling. And also check out my Patreon, www.patreon.com/Chris THRALL. And if you support me for just £2 a month, it's nothing, $2.50 that is. It's not even the price of a cup of coffee a month. You're not only investing in yourself and helping me to do videos like this and to do my work, my charity work and this kind of thing, but also you'll get a free e-copy of my books. You'll get an invite to my annual talk and after party so we can meet. And I'll send you every month a free motivational video, just with a few tips I've picked up after coming back from the depths of addiction, as you may have heard about. So that's it. Thanks for watching.